Yo, Terrell here from Evolution Movement. As you know, I've started Evolution Movement. I started this platform to bring together people in the neighborhood with different small businesses, entrepreneurs, and nonprofits. So today, I'm joined by the best jersey maker in the world, Starky, creator of Rare Breeds. How you doing, Starky?
What's up, bro? Thank you for having me. I appreciate it.
Man, I'm happy. I'm happy to get you on. I mean, as soon as I thought about this concept of doing like these interviews and connecting the people with like different small businesses, I thought about you and what you're doing. Like, I love. I mean, obviously we've known each other for a while.
Right,
Yeah,
right.
I love what you're doing. I love like the concepts and everything that you're doing. Very creative, which draw me to like the different jerseys that you have. So tell us a little bit about like your background, where you're from, all that, and then we'll get into what you do.
Right. So I can't start without acknowledging my role. I am the best jersey designer in the world. I'm Gabe Stark. Some people know me as Starky. I am from the Bronx, proudly New Yorker, and then the CEO, the owner of Rare Breed BX.
Yes, sir. So what got you into? I mean, obviously you did a lot of different things. You've been doing a lot of different things, but
Right.
what made you get into the jersey part?
Well, I mean, I've always loved jerseys, right? Like jerseys have always been a big part of fashion for us, especially uptown, especially in New York. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like growing up, you can't think of fashion and not think about jerseys. Throwbacks were huge
You.
for us growing up. You know what I mean? So there's that, but also just being a big sports fan, it kind of felt like the natural progression somewhere along the line. I've always loved jerseys. I've always owned a lot of jerseys. Over time, jerseys have the quality of jerseys have kind of gone down. Have
Right.
kind of dwindled. I wanted to restore the feeling, if you will, and kind of bring back that higher quality jersey. Really bring back fully stitched jerseys, bringing back high quality jerseys. That was something that I, set out to do during COVID. We started in 2020. We just had our 3 anniversary yesterday.
Right.
So we trucking along. Today is the first day of year 4, which is great. But it started out as a marketing concept of just trying to see how we could reimagine a team that had never really rebranded themselves. So of course, being a New Yorker, I had to go with the Knicks. So in the process of doing that, it was uh, thinking through ads, thinking through what fake subway ads, thinking through what the
Yeah.
store would look like, and the part of that was reimagining the uniform. So and reimagining the uniform, I was like, "Yo, these came out dope, so we should, see if we could have them made." There's little
Mhm.
league teams, people have jerseys made. So then I went down the rabbit hole of trying to find the right quality and materials and partners and all those kinds of things. But um, it really just started, it stemmed from my love of jerseys, really, and then sports overall.
Yeah, no, that's dope. I mean, obviously, I'm a fan of jerseys. I mean, especially throwbacks back in the day.
Right,
I had tons of them. I mean, being in the sports background, I love the jerseys. And the first, like you talked about, like that first jersey, like the with the like the New York concept, that was
right,
dope. I mean, and it's crazy because you like now you're starting to see other brands doing similar type of things, like
right,
branded, like based off city and stuff like that. So it's like it's dope to see. I mean, I saw it when you first released it, and like how you
right.
rolled it out and everything was just different than I've ever seen as far as like people just creating their own jerseys. So that was dope, and definitely make sure you check it out. We'll have the link and everything too,
Yeah.
so everybody can come check it out. But I
Now,
mean, so yeah, so I mean, being from the Bronx and everything. So before you got into the jerseys and COVID, like I mean, obviously you said that you were inspired by like the things that you were around. Is there anything in particular like that growing up, or anything particular like where you lived that was like, all right, this is like because obviously we all love jerseys, but you took it to the next level of not
right.
only creating jerseys but putting them out there and being able for other people to buy.
Right. So I mean, my background before all of this was in marketing. So for me, it was an opportunity to kind of showcase what my company could do. One of the things I've always loved has been branding and logos, and like that's really always been my wheelhouse. So for me, coming from marketing and then moving into jerseys. This is the first time I've really had a product, a tangible product, a physical product, to actually sell. You know, when you're working in marketing, you working in strategy, you selling a lot of theoretical things. You selling a lot of well, yeah, you know, if you do this campaign, it could get you X. You know what I mean? You could do
Yeah,
Y,
yeah,
whatever. You know, so this was the first time that I really had a physical product to sell, and I think that has been a really interesting experience because a big piece of our marketing has been just putting them on people and
yeah,
letting people see them on the streets, right? Like so there was a jersey I made earlier this year. It was a New York Liberty jersey. And that's one of the jerseys that I've gotten the most questions about because, we will go to games and literally Liberty fans be like, yo, where'd you get that from? Where'd you get that from? Where'd you
yeah,
get that
yeah,
from? So it's just a matter of, wearing them, right? Like I've been my biggest billboard, probably literally and physically.
yeah,
So,
yeah.
you know what I mean? So, you know what I mean? So just me wearing the jerseys has brought a lot of attention to them. I call it the rare breed effect. Every time, when you wear my jerseys, everybody gonna ask you where you got it from. So,
Yeah.
so that effect kind of travels across the board for everybody that's had my design. So I think that's been a really cool piece of the process. But I think, you know, having a physical product to sell, I think has really helped in the growth of like just entrepreneurship. So then taking it back to, like you said, where I'm from and how that kind of shaped me, I think, as a New Yorker, there's always that kind of hustle and drive and grind and trying to make something out of nothing. So, this was kind of another opportunity to do that.
Yeah, that's dope. I mean, I feel like now, especially after COVID, I mean, obviously a lot of things changed during COVID, especially with businesses. But I feel like now this is like almost like a renaissance of entrepreneurs, especially Black and Brown
Right.
entrepreneurs. I mean, from everything. I think there is this statistic that says that there are more Black businesses now than there's been, I think, ever or in a very long time.
Right.
And I mean, you see with everything from obviously like the restaurants and things like that. I mean, I own a fitness gym. There's a lot of other Black owners in like Harlem, Bed-Stuy. You see them a lot more now. So and it continues with clothing and different types of brands. So I feel like this is a great time to not only own a business but being a person of color within this industry. It's a great time because now you're able to network with people that are just like you, that going through similar things. And that's the hardest part, I think, for businesses before this. Is like if you're starting out and you can't reach out to someone that's been in similar situations, it's harder for you to get your business going because
Right.
one, it might be a mental thing, like you don't know if it's going to work, or obviously this, if someone experienced it, they could tell you like what not to do, what you should do, and get you ahead of the game. And I feel like now with that's part of the reason why I also created this platform, because I wanted to not only bring people in the communities together with like small businesses, but bring other small business owners together, because that's the easiest way to grow. I mean, when people come together, that's how things change.
No, that's a fact, and I think one of the biggest, my hypothesis and what's changed and why it's kind of led to more Black and Brown entrepreneurs over the last couple of years. I think COVID gave everybody a little bit of time to sit down and really kind of rethink how they're looking at life. And what they want their life to look like, and what that can look like over the next couple of years. That's one thing. The second thing I think is, um, a lot of it, like I think what we've seen over the last couple of years has kind of been almost like a business natural selection, right? Like all the things that existed prior to COVID either struggled through it, and they may have made it, through and lasted to 2022, but we're seeing them kind of take the hit now in 2023. I think, we're seeing a completely different world, whether that's just remote work, and even just how drastic taking away people's commute changes things, right? So
Yeah,
now you look at the how podcast numbers decreased once people stopped commuting to work.
yeah,
Audio listening decreased when people stopped commuting to work. So, it made people really rethink how people were not only creating content, but how people were consuming content. So with people's consumption changing or how their trends changing, it also creates opportunity for new businesses and new things to emerge too. And I think that's what we've been seeing these last couple of years, is seeing new entrepreneurs with new mindsets, and forward thinking and innovative. And honestly, if you could make it in the last 2 3 years, it's only going to get easier from here. You talk about
Yeah,
starting a business in the middle of a pandemic,
yeah,
like, which hopefully we'll never see again. But
yeah,
we starting a business in the middle of a pandemic. If you could last this long, it's only up from here.
yeah. No, I fully agree. So, all right. So, in the last few years, when you started your business, what do you think was the toughest part, and what do you think is the part that now that you look back at it, you would probably change or do differently?
I think the toughest part is I always set out to not have any investors, right? Like I set out to, this was all going to kind of be backed by me and my family, to for the most part.
Hmm.
And with that, I think it allows you. It can sometimes be a crutch, because if you have the bread to kind of get it started, it's easy to just keep throwing money at problems, right?
Yeah,
But I think it's not until you really have to sit down and really crunch the numbers and really think through profit margins and really think about how you keeping those things afloat. Um, until that's when you really learn what you made of. You don't really learn what you made of until you run out of money.
yeah,
That's when you really gotta go out and get it. That's when you really
yeah.
at zero and you gotta turn it into something.
Hmm.
So I think that's always, like, the finances are always going to be a tough part in getting started in anything. But I think in turn that's also the gift. If you can make it and you can figure it out, then you can always figure it out, right? But
Yeah,
I think that's the tough part. The tough part is figuring out what your answer is, right? Like, you can find people who have other similar businesses, but that's not necessarily going to be the answer for you. It's going to
yeah,
start. It's going to start with the people around you and the people closest to you. That's what helps get you going. But then after a while, it's going to come down to, like, well, then now we got to really go and reach the masses and reach the public, and then it becomes, how do we do that? So with that, I think that the toughest part is really finding yourself and finding your voice on that journey and figuring out what works for you, what works for your company, what works for your brand, and then figuring out all the things that do and don't kind of fall in line with what you're envisioning your brand to be.
mm. Yeah. No, I mean that makes sense. So I feel like that's yeah. I mean everyone's journey isn't going to be the same. Like everyone's what success looks to everyone is going to be different. Even if you can be
Right,
in the same industry, your like your definition of success might be different than somebody else's. So
right,
yeah, you want to look at it. Yeah, you want to look at things in a way that you understand that this person might be able to help you as far as like guiding you in the right direction, but your path is your path. So you
right,
want to make sure that you do the things your way. Because at the end of the day, I mean, whether you are successful or you fail, you want to do it your way. Because if
right.
you fail and you do it somebody else's way, then you're gonna regret that. You know what I'm saying? Like
You didn't do
you
it
do
your
it
way.
my way, then it's like I failed. You know what I'm saying? Like I
Right,
did it, I tried it, it's over.
right.
So
Right. And no, and I think that's something that you could always stand on. That's something that you can hang your hat on, right? Like, if you try and you fail, you tried and you failed, but at least you tried. You know what I mean?
yeah,
Most people don't even try. So, and a lot of times you probably going to surprise yourself in how things actually shake out and work in your favor. So, it really comes down to how much you want it and how much you're willing to sacrifice to get where you want to go. Because if it was easy, everybody would do it, right? And I think the problems and the issues and the roadblocks, that happens for everybody. Every business owner is in the same boat, right? Everybody got to go out and get business.
yeah,
Everybody got to go out and get sales. Whether you in fitness, whether you clothing, whether you're a lawyer, you got to go. You got to go
yeah,
find
yeah,
clients. You know what I
yeah.
mean? So the name of the game is all the same regardless of the industry.
Yeah, no, that's facts. So what would you say? What advice would you give yourself or to like someone just starting out, as far as like when you first started to where you're at now?
I would say keep going. I think it's cliche, right? But I think keep going is the most important thing, because next thing you know, you're gonna look back and you've gotten way further than where you started. But then too, I think even in the progress, it becomes harder for you to stop and want to go back. The more things that you accomplish, the more that you prove to yourself, and then in turn, the more you prove to everybody else. So I think it's always going to be tough. It's always going to be a challenge. Like I said, if it was easy, everybody would do it, right? And time is really the biggest test. um, and experience is important. So with that experience, especially if you're just starting out, believe and trust in the process. Understand that everything can happen, but everything's going to happen in time. And understand that the people that you're looking at, and that might be kind of you looking at as your targets and where you want to hit, and the people will kind of setting the bar for whatever it is that you want to reach. Understand that a lot of those people have been there before. They've been doing this for longer. They've built more relationships. They've done all those things. So a lot of the time, it is a matter of time,
Yeah.
and just staying in the game, sticking with it, and continuing to grow and continuing to learn. And one foot forward at a time, and just take everything one step at a time, one day at a time, and you'll get it. But keep going, stick to your vision, and see it through, and find people. You'll find people along the way that have similar visions and agree with what you're doing. But everybody wants to work with a winner, so you got to go out and you got to build it and you got to create it, and then everybody will believe once you do it.
Yeah, no, that's great advice. So I mean, obviously, I follow like what you've done, like your jerseys and everything. What
Right.
do you think are some of your favorite jerseys that you've created? Whether it's like the actual design or like the story
Right.
behind it.
Well, I mean, I think one of the things I'm blessed to have is have the honor to be a part of a lot of really important moments. Whether that's for me, or more importantly for my customers. They've brought us in and brought me in to work on some projects that have been really dope. I think one of the most meaningful projects I've worked on, and it was recently, was doing a jersey for a family, for their mother, for breast cancer. She was 15 years, celebrating 15 years in remission. And I made jerseys for the whole family. So her grandkids, her
Oh
grandkids, so we had toddler jerseys all the way,
yeah,
all the way through. So that was a really, really nice moment. And being a part of that, we've been a part of some weddings, which is, really dope. There's a wedding that we got a chance to be a part of a couple years ago, and then they use those same jerseys to announce their pregnancy. And then I surprised them with a toddler jersey of the wedding jersey for their daughter. So it's been cool to work on a lot of cool, meaningful projects for my customers. But yeah, those are a couple just off the top of my head that were like really dope to work on.
that is dope. So let the people know like what you have coming up. If you have anything coming up for the holidays, and then also like where to find you, all that good stuff.
Right, right. Well, first and foremost, you can find us at rarebreedbx.com. You can find us at rarebreedbx on Instagram. You can find me at El Guapo BX on Instagram. And we just continuing to truck along, man. A lot of our focus is on custom orders. If you've got, custom designs in your head that you want to see come to life, we can make those happen. Any kind of gathering works for us. We want to do more family reunions. That'd be cool. But yeah, man, like I always say about our brand, is more fashion than function. We aren't necessarily chasing the sports side of teams, right? We look at and we challenge our customers to think of any group of people as a team, whether that's your office and you're thinking about office gifts, customer gifts, client gifts, small businesses that, are thinking about how to elevate their brand and thinking about merch, and, whether that's comedians and thinking about, them going on tour and they want merch. There's a lot of different things, but, our tagline is, if you can dream it, we can seem it. So anything people can think of, we can make. So I always try to challenge people to really think outside the box and think of some things that you've never seen before, and we'll make them come to life. So if you got a custom order, if you've got something that you want to see come to life, if there's a group of you and your friends, whether it's your fantasy football team, whether your girlfriend is about to get married and you need some bridesmaid jerseys, we got cropped jerseys in every sport. We have jerseys, which are our take on jersey dresses. So we got a lot of different products. We're also expanding our product line. There's a couple different things that are coming this winter that'll, I think, will surprise a couple people. So we're working on a couple things now, but of course, it's all jerseys all the time. There'll be more collaborations early next year. Yeah, some bigger, cooler collaborations next year, and we'll just be doing some more custom ones, and I've got some more surprise drops that'll be coming probably the end of this year, early next year.
Dope, dope. Yeah, so make sure you definitely check out Rare Breeds. Check us out, Evolution Movement. Follow us on Instagram, Evolution Movement. We're gonna have a bunch of different interviews just like this, highlighting a lot of different entrepreneurs and small businesses. Thank you again, Gabe. This is great. Thank you for joining me. Yeah, I mean, you already know, you already know, like it's gonna be crazy. It's only up from here. I feel like it's a great time. It's a great time for a lot, as I said, a lot of small businesses, a lot of entrepreneurs, and I feel like this is like a new level of new entrepreneur, like a new group of entrepreneurs that's going to take over. So
Yeah,
I'm happy to see how it's going to roll out. I mean, it's just the beginning, pretty much. So.
well, thank you for that. I mean, and I have to say, well, thank you again for having me. I think you've been knowing you for a couple years. You've been an inspiration with ITA movement, and seeing how you've been able to grow the brand and continue to grow the brand and continue to think of new ways to expand and growing your business. I think it has been a real inspiration, to me as somebody who, like I said, I just got a physical, tangible product
Yeah.
in the last 3 years, and then you've been running your business and pushing along for years. So I commend you. Congratulations on your success. Congratulations on the things that are to come. If even if this is the first time I'm telling you, you've been an inspiration in keeping me going and seeing other young Black entrepreneurs that are doing it in whatever their field is. It's kept me in the game. So with that, I appreciate it. And thank you for having me. And I'm excited to see what's coming next for you too.
Thank you. Thank you. Appreciate it. So check out Rare Breeze. Check us out, Evolution Movement, ITA Movement. And like that, we out of here.